This episode may contain strong language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 22 Dropouts. It's episode 35, believe it or not. And yes, we are still in lockdown. We are your favourite referee bunch that don't know much about rugby. So don't worry about it too much, because if you don't know anything about rugby, you're fine with this lot. Say hello, this lot. Hello, Julian.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Very well, thank you. I'm having a
Good.
good week. And it's Monday, so that's not too bad. Start.
If it's not good by Monday night, mate, it's going to be really bad the rest of the week. Sam, late as usual, just got home.
Yeah, you know, it happens now and again, but I'm not on time for a change.
Well, Pete never. In fact, Pete had to get dressed to come on the show tonight.
Guys, how are you?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Yeah, good, man.
So I don't know what. Anyway, interesting last week, wasn't it? We talked a bit of rugby, didn't we? What was going on there? But it was really good to see Tom from Worcester and talk about their mixed ability. Hopefully, that's going to spark some more mixed ability clubs, mixed ability teams around different countries as well.
He put a post up. He put a post up on Facebook and thanked the 22 Dropouts today.
Yeah, there's been one on Twitter as well. So big shout out again to Worcester Mixed Ability Sport as well.
It's cracking to hear all of them.
Yeah, cracking stuff. Brilliant.
Yeah, really good. So on that basis, I thought we might as well carry on talking a bit of rugby tonight.
Shocking.
Look, they've all gone quiet.
Yeah, I don't want to talk rugby.
Everyone's gone. And I thought, well,
with two Englishmen, I definitely don't want to talk rugby right now.
I've even made some notes. How good's this?
Has he got statistics?
Look at Sam's face. He's absolutely flabbergasted that I've made some notes. Now, I thought, well, I mean, it has been a busy rugby weekend. We know we've all been chatting crap on our WhatsApp groups during the games. So I thought we might as well kick straight off in the internationals and that wonderful victory for Scotland over Fiji, 28-0, mate. How on earth did Scotland manage that?
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, fantastic game. They were well deserved as well.
Yeah, they went up in the rankings into the top 10.
Yeah,
Just above Italy.
Played Fiji at their own game, offloading, passing out of hand, doing everything over the top, basketball passes, the whole thing, and just 20.
And then you woke up, Sam.
It was another victory for COVID. That's all
honestly,
it was,
Sam,
another victory.
If Fiji had actually just not turned up on the day and Scotland had kicked the game off, do you really think they would have won?
I think Scotland would have won.
I love it, Sam, because the person that's giving you the most grief is a Welshman.
I know. Well, I got to get everybody back after afterwards.
And let's not go there, Jules. Let's not go there.
Oh no, let's go there. Let's go there. Much more fun when we do go to places like
that. I gotta love this. Mikey in his fantastic wisdom decided not to use the 22 editorial group chat, for building up this autumn test stuff, and said, let's create another fucking group chat on WhatsApp called Talk Shit During
the Game.
Right? Okay.
Great.
So you could be sitting there one evening, just and then the next thing you know, when there's a game on, there's like fucking 300 bloody messages that are unread.
Sam, you can mute conversations on WhatsApp.
Yeah, well, I figured that out, mate, and that's exactly what I did. So I woke up to fucking 300 bloody unread messages that were like, read. But no,
you say that. You say that. Me and Pete were discussing you earlier.
Yeah, the best part of it is that fucking he's got all the same people in the fucking same chat group.
No. There's a couple of differences. I haven't, because I haven't had Pete yet, because I forgot about Pete on Saturday. Sorry, mate. But the other reason is that Phil, of course, is trying to watch them several hours later because they don't get them live in the States. and he was getting all these messages pinging up on his phone telling him what was going on in the game. So he had to keep removing himself from the editorial chat, which is why, and then requests to be put back in it. So that's why we created a whole new one. But seriously now, who thinks if Fiji had turned up?
He's serious now. Seriously now.
Seriously now, if Fiji had been allowed to play, do you really think that Scotland would have got a 4-try win?
Probably not. No, but they would have won it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they would have.
Bold.
Yeah.
I think Fiji are a great side. I love
They are. They're a fantastic side. They're absolutely brilliant to watch. I love watching Fiji play.
I've been really sick about this autumn tests. You know, all these games of how many kicks there was. Kick. 55 kicks in the French game.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it? It was 55 kicks.
Is this Nigel Owens' game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it after this.
It's a lot of kicking.
France win, by the way.
Thanks very much.
Well, actually, that brings us almost nicely onto my next point.
Look at him with his notes. He's got all posh today.
I have actually.
When he says he's got notes, that means he's got no fucking window space left, because he writes everything on his fucking window.
No, I write it on my glass. I did actually. Last time you came over here, my windows were my whiteboard, weren't they? And the glass doors were my whiteboard. It was everywhere. This stuff
brings a new meaning to the fucking term window liquor.
At least I used you to wipe it off. But I did speak to one of the guys in the Fiji camp today, who are just still about on the lockdown. I spoke to Nandolo this afternoon, and he is fairly confident that they will get a game this weekend, which would be absolutely superb. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to those guys having it. It doesn't matter who it's against. They just need to run out, don't they?
Georgia.
Yeah,
against Georgia.
What they've done is gone, can't play these lot, boys.
You know what would be funny is if Georgia turn up and absolutely have a blinder of a game and just pip it and win.
Did all right against Ireland?
Hey, how did Ireland get on against Georgia?
23.
Well, let's go there then. Tell us all about it, Pete.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so 23-10, and with 57 minutes to go, 57 minutes gone, it was only 20-10. 10 points difference from a lot of the game. Ireland only scored 3 points in the second half, and 15 of their 23 points came off the boot. You've got to sort of ask yourself a lot of questions there, haven't you, if you're the Ireland management and Ireland team?
Yeah, well done, Georgia. Ireland is shit.
Is there a lot of new guys in the Irish and the Welsh teams in that?
Yeah.
No, don't give them that excuse, Sam.
No, but it's
not an excuse, because they're there because they're the best players we got.
What I did manage to see is that the French team changed freaking like all their squad, bar 2 players or something. The ones that
they had to, didn't they?
Yeah, they got no choice.
Yeah, because the French thing, they didn't release the players or something, right?
Yeah, the top 14 are released in more than 3 games.
Yeah.
No, I mean, do you know what? I heard something funny today that can you just imagine though going back over to Paris and Sean Edwards calling all of the chairman of the French top 14 over, them in the room, going, no, listen here, lads, you're giving me fucking players. It'll need money. It'll need the FFR is going to have to splash a load of cash out to get these guys released.
They've already said they're not going to do it. They're going to play the team that they've got, and they're going to put the team out. Yeah, they said that
against England.
Yeah, so they're putting the same team out against England. So they're not going to go and get all their other players. So if their players have played 3 games, they will not be picked next weekend.
Oh, that's good. That's good though. That's actually good because it gives a good blood in for the new guys.
I just think it's great because when they beat England, it'll be absolutely fucking brutal.
Yeah, because we did it with our 3rd string team.
I was looking around for my I'll be back.
You taxi. Yeah.
No, not my taxi.
He's looking around to see where the knives are coming, and he's back in a minute.
Oh, I'm just a bit worried.
Nice cushions, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried by Julian's cushions.
There is no place like. Does that say no place like home?
No, this says it's no place like Sam's book crack on tour.
Oh, shut up! Honestly,
we haven't seen it yet, man.
I have.
You have bloody seen it.
But this is the best. I went to watch France England in Paris this year, and I bought this.
Yeah, I was supposed to go. I was supposed to come with you for that one, wasn't I?
You were, yeah. But this thing is actually.
That's what you were wearing on your head the other day.
That is what I was wearing, and it was as a hat.
What was that? Because of COVID? Is that was because of COVID I couldn't come, or did
The Frenchman was allowed in the apartment.
I just came back from Canada, didn't I?
Technically, he should be wearing a mask if he's French, right?
Yeah.
No, I went to watch France England earlier in the year, and we picked up a couple of those while we were there. I was with a French mate of mine.
Yeah.
You know Manny, don't you, Pete?
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Manny were watching the game together, and we bought a couple of these, and they were the best things we bought the whole weekend. Drunk, wearing those around on our heads in Paris all weekend. Absolutely cracking weekend.
Now we should actually talk about that try, shouldn't we? From the Georgian 13 that stepped, dummied, and hopped, skipped, and jumped around the entire Irish backline. Man, it's like, no, don't need you. No, I'm just going to pretend to offload to you, and just went the length himself.
Well, I think it's funny as well, because the commentators have been constantly going, Georgia, they're a big bunch of forwards, they're a big bunch of lads, they like to smash it up the middle, Route 1 rugby, just all of this, and then that happened.
No, you're absolutely right. It was absolutely superb. No, I mean, Ireland did cross the line a couple of times, but managed to fuck it up. And how many times were they held up?
3, I think.
Yeah,
it's got definitely 2.
I think it's 3 times. The guys were getting underneath so beautifully, and they're very cleanly held up. Most of the time, the referee never even bothered to check.
Well, it was bodies on the lines as well, because you saw one of the guys went over on his head to get underneath the ball, and it was just they were just putting it all out to stop Ireland scoring. It was cracking. Yeah,
I think they did very, very well. So France managed to beat Italy, even with their second string squad, 36-5. What did you think of that game?
Thanks for telling me the score then as well. Fucking hell.
Catch up, mate.
Right, okay.
Jesus.
Right, Samuel, just tell us, please, Samuel, why you weren't watching the rugby.
Next question.
Okay.
This sounds meaty. Tell us, Sam.
Was Melissa doing something naughty?
No, shut up.
Oh, man, you can't go there.
Pete, behave yourself. This is an adult show.
Okay, so Sam, were you really doing Magnum P40?
He was out on his paddleboard.
Hold on. Oh yes. Yeah, no, it was out. We're out. Something that was pre-organised, so I had to miss the game.
That was the Autumn Nations Cup, mate. It's just no excuse.
Yeah, but you know, it's not the Six Nations, is it? And well.
So you don't put much store in this one, then, mate. If it's not the Six Nations. Even though you got a 28-0 win against Fiji.
Yeah, well, that didn't really happen either, did it? So
yeah, without even.
But the record will show that you won.
Oh yeah, but you know, no, just there was something pre-organised, guys, and I couldn't really, so.
Yeah,
it wasn't anything dastardly. Just some things you can't get out of.
You went to IKEA. We will never talk to you again, Sam.
No idea.
Mel, cross him up. Tell us what he did on the weekend.
Mel.
Is your name Mel or fucking Melissa?
Melanie.
We're going to call her Mel because we wanted to do something.
No, he's asking what did I do the weekend.
Grassy dada.
Doesn't know because I was staying with my girlfriend.
It was away.
I don't know.
Anyway, we're going to go and take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Wales-England game.
We didn't even talk about the French game.
Why would we?
We've had a go at Sam.
We'll talk about the Wales-England game, and we'll we'll just explain what happens when you get pushed in the back. We'll be back with you right after this. When you need clear and concise match official communication systems, look no further than the brand new AXIWE AT350.
Radios are they're always useful, they always help us, especially AXIWEs, where all three of us can be open at any time, we can have open communication.
Available now from refcomsglobal.net. Investing profits into match official development worldwide. Welcome back to episode 35 of the 22 Dropouts. Don't forget to check us out on our social media. Just look at the top of the page, search at 22 Dropouts. We're back with the gang tonight, slightly depleted gang. Some of them are still at university. Phil's had to do some work in the States for a change, and well, James has just been James in Scotland again. So we weren't talking about the France-Italy game, so shall we carry on not talking about it?
Of course.
There you go then. So we covered that one off, which was just a bit of a kick fest again, wasn't it, to be fair?
The sevens players woke up.
So Nigel actually had to do a lot. Nigel actually had to do a lot of running then.
No, he just stood in the middle and watched the ball go over his head like this.
He did a bit, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's put it this way.
Right, and he had to tell the players that he got sick of saying stop.
Yeah.
So he told the players that I am sick of telling you to stop. When the ball is kicked ahead and you are in front, you stop. I am not saying it all the time.
I'm not going to tell you again. I'm going to start penalising you now.
Yeah. It was.
He really did get fed up, didn't he? He got so pissed off.
So he got flashy pink boots or something, right, for the game, and yet he didn't even do much running then.
He was not putting in as much effort as he did in his first game. Let's put it that way.
He didn't have to do. He did bugger all. The thing about Italy, though, is that they offered absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a poor game, and Julian's right about the sevens. The French sevens players, they did start carving holes through the defence, didn't they?
Yeah.
And using that.
As soon as they got a bit of space, they were through.
Well, as soon as they stopped kicking it.
Yeah. When they stopped kicking it, they looked good.
Yeah. That Teddy Thomas, he's brilliant, but. What was he kicking it? What was he kicking it for?
Know.
Every time he got the ball, the commentator said, "Why is he kicking it? Because he's got electrified pace."
Every time he ran with the ball, he nearly scored.
I know. Yeah. That time where he just
why on earth they did that, I don't know. So we should. I suppose that's a good time to talk about Nigel's 100th. Congratulations, Nigel, on your 100th cap. Well done. I honestly see 101 coming very, very quickly, as in this weekend.
No, they've already picked the rest for this weekend. He's not on the sheet.
Oh, really? I've not seen it yet.
No, they
so, who's got the final then?
Andrew Brace.
No, not French guy, is it?
No, can't have a French guy, can't have an English guy.
Can't be French or English. That's why we, on the weekend we
got Mr. Brace.
We were all saying that.
It was really.
He's born in Cardiff.
Another one who can't bloody stay there because he doesn't like the place.
No, exactly. He moved to Ireland and works for the IRFU now. So he's an Irish ref, but born in Cardiff. I didn't know that until I saw it online.
Right. So,
well
so Nigel's 100th game. I saw loads of people saying, well done and all this lot. Then I saw an interview with Scott Quinnell before the game.
Yeah.
And he still remembers his first ever game. Where he was, what type of game it was, and he just said somebody came into the change rooms and said, "You'll go far." He has got no idea who that guy is, but I bet you if somebody just owned up and said, "Look, I was the one that said that," I bet he'd buy my pint.
Probably.
And what I didn't know about him is that a typical Welsh guy is a farmer.
Yeah, they got 40 head of cattle now.
That's a retirement plan.
He started with four. He started with 4 or something after the World Cup, didn't he? And now he's got 40 odds.
Yeah.
But what he did say during the game is that while he was refereeing the game, all his cattle were having bovine tests. So the pressure of that, of him failing them, would be unbelievable. I mean,
I think he was waiting for the results after the game, wasn't he?
yeah, about an hour's drive from here, there's a bird flu outbreak. Bird flu.
There's lots of it around.
10,000 turkeys they've got to destroy. The price
Going
of
to push up your Christmas turkey, isn't it?
Yeah, price is going to go through the roof now.
Everyone's going to want duck.
Damn right. Duck or goose?
My mum has already said she's going to have a little bit of Welsh lamb. No turkey, no. They're going to have the leg of lamb.
Is that because you've tenderised it already, Julian?
Oh, well, yeah, like a can over here. My dad will have to do the hard work.
And
so says every Welshman.
And this show was about rugby.
No, it's about tenderising sheep.
I think there's a clip there that we just need to make into a meme. I'm out tenderising sheep.
It's not called sheep shagging anymore. It's called ram raiding.
Oh, you have to bring that again.
Ram raiding.
Yeah, I went to Cardiff once, right? There was 3 sheep tied to a lamppost. It said leisure centre.
I remember in Sweden, I was in a bar, and one of the Irish boys there came in, he was a bit cocky, and he found out I was Welsh. And he turned around and said, "Oh, you've got a pair of green wellies, mate. You've got a pair of green wellies. Put the back feet of the sheep in them so you can shag them." I looked at him like he was stupid. I said, "Are you fucking daft, man?" And he thought I was going to start a fight. I said, "It's high tech in Wales now. We got Velcro gloves."
You do it off the top of a cliff so it pushes backwards.
Yeah.
Right, we done with the sheep jokes now? We get on the Wales game, maybe.
What do you call a Welshman with 40 wives? A shepherd. Just found 2 new uses for sheep in Wales, haven't they? Meat and wool.
Terrible.
Sure.
They are getting worse now.
Right, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel now, Pete.
So, shall we talk about the Welsh? Shall we talk about the Welsh game against England? I think yes.
That was a yes. That was a resounding yes in Sam's Scottish cheap dulcet tones of sheep.
So Sam, if he hasn't already seen it, Wales lost 13-24. What do you think of the
Wales
game?
lose against?
It was a bit dull.
Yeah, I thought so.
It wasn't a good advert for the game.
I don't think there was any really exciting game at all weekend.
No, not really.
Yeah, there was. Scotland won.
Saying that was probably the most exciting.
It probably was the most exciting game, Sam, of not even playing.
I mean, to nil Fiji 28 like that, mate, with a bonus point. Hallelujah. Yeah. Well done, Scotland.
They only equalled Italy doing that as well, though.
He's got a point there, Sam. You're not doing anything special. Italy have already done that.
Beat more than what Italy did.
What Italy can do, we can do.
Right, anyway, the Wales game, the referee was shit. He was the worst.
You know this is a refereeing show, don't you?
Every time there's a French referee on, that's the first thing you say, Pete. The referee was shit.
Okay, right, so first scrum, he didn't even give a free kick. He gave a penalty. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, he actually should have given the free kick on the first time, never mind resetting it, because it was shocking. They're absolutely ridiculous. Feet too far back, hinge straight down.
Flat down, takes the Welsh guy down with him, penalty against Wales.
Is this the same guy that said, "I'm going to give you a warning the next time you do it," and then fucking going to send him off after 2 warnings as well?
No, different guy. This is Roman.
It was Roman Poit.
So Roman, yeah, who incidentally looked like he'd just run 199 games before as well. He was desperately slow. I mean, it may just be camera angles, I don't know, but a lot of them look really slow out there this weekend. They've eaten too much in lockdown.
Like all the top refs, he didn't have a bad game, but certain things stood out, like the scrum, for example. There were certain penalties. Even I could see him from the TV, just looking at the TV first time round. I'd spotted first time round. And I don't ref at that level, but even I could see that is either a reset or a penalty to Wales, and he's penalised England. Because he's got his feet too far back and he's gone straight into the ground. And he did it twice, not once.
Yeah,
2
but
in a
I mean,
row.
like,
And only in the second half, late on.
Sinclair went in and chased his feet and went in, and he gave the penalty to England.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You can
And
just see it.
you could see that he lost the Welsh front row. They'd stopped even trying at some point to talk to the referee, because they said, look, England are backing up and they're forcing us forwards, and we're losing ground on that. And eventually he started looking at it, and you see that in the second half, late on in the second half, he spotted them doing it. And he's penalised them twice, 3 times for it.
It was a very strange old game, wasn't it?
The
Don't
Welsh
get me wrong, they fucking
Was it that
trounced
game
us in
where-
some of the, absolutely trounced us in some of the scrums, and no doubt about it, penalty every time. And most of them, they were the stronger team, but there were a couple that he shouldn't have made mistakes on. And I just
no, and he's
don't
got
think
experienced
right.
ARs as well. Let's face it. They've been putting that in. Although,
and then you have the other incident, that Mr.
Sorry,
Peacock
Julian.
brought up at the end of the game.
We'll come on to that in a sec. Was it in this game that he the TMO was overruled?
That's the incident that our lovely coach brought up at the end of the match that he said we might want to look at again, which is
Which one was that?
It was a person taken out in the air, and England scored
yes,
from it.
of course it was.
Figure's gone up in the air, caught the ball, come forward, and he's been hit just before he hit the ground. His feet are off the ground.
In my eyes, it was fine.
Yeah, to be honest, when I saw it, you could see his feet were off the ground, but Bigger's landed and made ground forwards.
Yes.
He's got 4 players around him, and Pratt's gone, no, play on here. He's got the ball. Yeah, so he's overruled the TMO. He's seen the players gone forwards, and there's no danger there whatsoever. Why would we want to stop that? Okay, technically, it's against the law. Technically, he's this far off the ground on his way down. He hasn't quite hit the ground. But he's still made ground forward. He's got himself in a position. And then the next player who's come in has ripped the ball off him and turned it over. And then England has scored the try. I've got nothing to whinge about on that.
Yeah, I think the two things are unrelated, aren't they?
Hold on.
Yes, totally.
The first thing is that if you do it by anything, he was still tackled in the air.
He was, yeah.
Right? So whether anything happens, that is your first thought. He was still tackled, a player safety and all this lot. You know, what happens if he landed nasty and the referee went, no, it's fine, just play on.
The thing is, he got the TMO call after it had happened. Yeah, and he'd seen it because he was straight on top of it. There was no danger.
And the AR was close.
Yeah, he'd seen it happen. Okay, there wasn't any danger
things.
involved in that actual tackle, so there was no dangerous incident there. So I think he's gone at that point. Let's play on now. Let's keep the game going.
There's a couple of things for me there. First of all, is he's gone up for the ball at a rate of knots. He's caught the ball and he's travelled forward in the air. Now, was it Sam who made the tackle?
Yeah.
Warburton?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but if you look, he's half obscured from the catcher, who's coming forward into him. I don't think he launches that much into the tackle. If it was me, I hope I'd have just gone and let him come into me. But he does it that very last split second. He does wrap, doesn't he?
The law states that you've got to go up to contest for the ball, or you've got to let the player going up has to land. You can't.
You can't take his space away.
You cannot. You cannot grab. Yeah, you cannot grab, hold, or push the player while his feet are off the ground.
The first defence is, if it was England playing, all right, we'll be up in arms about it. All right, we'll be absolutely going bloody mad about it, but we're not. It's the Welsh players. The Welsh players gone up. Sam Underhill's put him on the ground, which he has done. He's lost the ball, and England has scored. We're not fussed, but the Welsh lads will be pissed off. All right, but it was a penalty, and I was like, well, how come he's missed it? The TMO, and then he just overruled him completely. And you're thinking to yourself, will this guy ever referee international again?
I mean, after that, maybe not for a while.
Well, aren't Wales reporting him to World Rugby?
But you don't get. No, that's the bloody
teacher.
That's the Wales Online using their fucking bollocks reporting. They're shit. Yeah. They just throw.
You like Wales Online, you do.
They're terrible. They really are. One-eyed fucking. They're like a Llanelli fan. Sorry, Llanelli.
They're like the BBC.
But what will happen is the regular processes will go through. PVAC will go through the game and give points and hand them into the referee's performance reviewer. I would like you to look at these points during the game. Thank you very much. And that will be it.
And we'll go.
Yeah, which is what happens at the end of every game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all that's going to happen. And that is correct. That's the way it should happen. The Welsh team should write down their notes on things that they think the referee should look at and for his own development, even though he's 900 years old. Sorry. But yeah, it's the process has gone through. And then some of the Welsh newspapers have just gone all blown up about it and blown it out of all context.
Yeah, because it could have been a penalty to Wales. They could have kicked it into the corner,
and that's 5 points that they wouldn't have scored.
And then they wouldn't have scored. But did you see the Welsh hooker complain about where the England was stood? Did you see that one? And he complained, and then he got put on the mark, and the touch judge actually moved behind him, and then he threw it not straight.
I know.
And I was like, how much comedy can you get in one little bit?
The best part was
it serves him right though.
This one, Platt told him 4 times, and he just ignored him and spoke to Alan Wynne-Jones, and then walked off. He completely blanked the referee, stood on the line, and then cocked the throw in up. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake!
I was like, as if you did that. I mean, like, he's put you where you need to be. No,
it was as comedic as the last kick of the game in the Scotland game last week. It had you pulling your hair out that much, didn't it?
Yeah, it's tough being Scottish.
It is. You can tell you pulled that much hair out.
Well, there's one other incident in that game that the Welsh press have all been going on about as well.
Yeah.
You know about that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, go on, tell us about it, Julian.
Mr. Ellis Genge, he's come in, and it looks like he's gone and headbutted somebody. But if you look at it, it's like absolute bollocks. No, it hasn't. It's nothing. You look at the Welsh players, they're just looking at him. If he'd have headbutted somebody in front of those 4 guys, somebody would have knocked him out.
Yeah, there'd have been a player reaction. Can't say there's going to be a crowd reaction anymore,
he slipped over, bumped his head into a player and got back up again. If you look at the player he ran into, if you look at the player he ran into, he didn't even move. He just looked down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I think that's covered off the controversy about the Ellis Genge, who's been on Twitter this week and said, I didn't headbutt anybody at all.
Yeah, and he's
I was put from behind and I slipped, and that's it. And end of story. And I think that's where we should leave that. We'll take a quick break and see you again in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to part 3 of 22 Dropouts. If only you knew what we talked about during the break. There is stuff that won't even make its way onto the outtake show. It's that sensitive. Anyway, Pete, how is lockdown affecting the business?
I'm loving being quiet. That's all I can say.
Excellent news. Now, before the break, we did talk about... before the break, we did talk about the Wales and England game. Now, before we move on to bits of news and other things, predictions then, guys, this weekend. So we know who the referee is going to be now for the final, which is going to be England against France. France are, as we now know, thanks to Julian again. Julian, you knew far too much about this game than anybody else. You're too clever for it.
I watched them.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I watched them. I just don't remember.
I don't get week on, week in, week out rugby in Sweden. If there's rugby on the friggin' TV, I'm going to watch it.
Fair enough. Now, predictions then. England, France. France are going to put out the same team, apparently.
I can't see. I'm going to be cheering the French on, but I can't see them beating the English right now.
France.
Not with the team they've got.
Is Is that head or heart speaking, Sam?
ABE, doesn't matter if it's head or heart, ABE.
It'd be anybody but England.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody but England.
That's what Sam and Julian will go for.
Yeah,
Because
I'm going to be cheering the French on, no matter what.
I tell you what, it's a good job.
I won't be so confident that they'll be able to do it because with the team that France have got right now. But I will be cheering them on and expecting
It's a
them to
good job that Fiji weren't in England's pool, because these two would be saying that Fiji should have the 28-0 win instead of England.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, yeah, because at the end of the day, freaking Fiji would have beaten England.
If Fiji hadn't
we
turned up
reckon-
that game, I would have been cheering on the Fijians.
Oh, yeah.
We reckon then, come on. Fiji might get their first and only game of the series this weekend against Italy.
Georgia.
Going to try and kick it to them?
Georgia.
Georgia. Well, they ain't going to bully them up front, are they?
Yeah, the wooden spoon is between Italy and Wales.
Wales in for the wooden
Yeah, I'm
spoon.
not going to fight.
Oh, go on.
I'm going to hold
Georgia, Fiji, I expect a really good scrum game. Fiji will be fresh and absolutely biting for it. Will probably beat Georgia.
Yeah.
But I've absolutely loved the Georgians being in this competition. I've enjoyed them
It's
more.
done them wonders.
I've done them more. You know, they've done more than the Italians have. But I'm still for Italy to be in the Six Nations until Georgia can prove that they can do it something. But Italy at the moment, they're not producing at all. You know,
it's a big step up, though, isn't it, from that sort of second tier of European rugby into that top tier? That's a massive leap.
Yeah, but if you just think, right, okay, you're playing Georgia, right, rugby, right? They won't have the oh God, what do you call it? The player pathway of what England will have, or developed or anything like that. They've got to go to France, and they've got to be better than a French kid in the class. You know, quite a lot of them do play in France or in Italy or you know, and you know, by the time they're 27, 28, they could actually be in the first team of their club, and then go and play international rugby. When you think that our lot have played rugby all the way through, and then hit international peak at 21, playing under 21s. Georgia have never had that.
No.
Yeah,
you know,
not yet.
And so
club rugby is kicking off there, though, and it's growing and growing and growing. So
you say that
maybe in 10, 20 years they'll be there.
You say that, and before 10 or 20 years is up, there has to be a decent sevens tournament in Tbilisi that we can take our 22 roadshow on tour with, and all of our 22 can be honorary members, if they aren't already, of the sevens referee pool.
And now we can get onto the rumours mill. Now you brought that in.
Rumour mill.
Yeah, well,
we haven't done rumour mill in ages.
Okay, it's not sevens. It's not sevens.
It's tens.
But Rugby Europe have just signed a deal to do beach rugby and snow rugby across Europe. So the Russians are going to run it for Rugby Europe for the next few years. And they're going to set snow rugby up probably in the north of Europe because it's a bit colder, and the beach rugby. So if Georgia have got a beach somewhere, I'm pretty sure we could get over and entertain ourselves on a nice sunny beach.
Do you know what? I think I might have to just Google whether Georgia's got any coastline.
I don't think they do.
I'm sure
they might have a big lake somewhere. They can put a nice beach out.
Well, just get some sand.
I don't think they've agreed any locations yet. I'd expect it at least one or two to be in Russia, Ukraine, that sort of.
Well, as our leader in Europe, Julian, I expect you to go and get a couple of tournaments for us.
I will find out, and otherwise we'll invite you over to Sweden anyway.
Oh yeah, and when we'll bring the gang over, and we'll actually record a show live in Sweden.
Honestly, we should do
with an audience.
In Warsaw, by any chance, Sam?
Yeah, why can't 22 dropouts go on tour? And
we should go on tour. We should go on tour to Warsaw because then we've got Ian, Tim. We've all been on this show before.
Yeah,
and
Crowd Chief, he's coming along. Yeah. All these referees have been on the show.
Another bit of news that I had today. I had another meeting with the guys who are running and organising the Brighton Sevens, which is a conference sevens, top level sevens tournament and music festival in June next year. So we are still working towards that. That's going to be great with Sevens Ref and all the top gang. Top gang being, well, no, Sam's gone. Top gang being like us three. On the call. Hello, Sam. Neither will he. So no, that's really interesting. But in other news, all the news that's new and approved by the US government, sweetest smelling government in the world. Yeah. Manu Tuilagi. Looks like he's may well have played his last England game, according to rumours. He's done his Achilles and he's going to be out till at least May, which means he's going to miss the Six Nations. He has said over the weekend he's hoping for a call up to the Lions, but that could well be it. And that means he's probably not going to play anymore for Sale. Now we all know that he left Tigers, didn't he? And Sale picked him up for a bit of a bargain. With all the trouble that Tigers have got and the arguments over the salaries and things. And he's already been linked with a move to either Toulon or Racing 92. Interesting times for him. Interesting times for Sale as well.
Where the money is then?
I like him as a player. And I hope he gets like speedy recovery and all this lot, but I hope he's at the Lions. Because that'd be awesome.
Yeah, wild card.
Yeah. Do you know, there's a few guys that I look around now that have been big names, and Billy and Manu and people like that. And you've got to say, in terms of consistency, because they've been there for a long period of time and they've been in every game, actually, the name is almost bigger than their actual reputation now. They've not been in the group as often. They've been injured for a long time. Are they really the player that they used to be?
I don't know, but if you Google, or,
I wouldn't like run at him though.
If you YouTube his name, the first thing that comes out is his fighting or his brother's fighting. That's all that happens. You know, like, oh yeah, show us the best boy. All right, well, it's a fight here and fight here. Chris Ashton here. But no. I mean, like
the Lions together.
To be fair, if a lot of players go to France because France have got like a stupid
retirement clause,
and they get a massive payout when they retire.
Yeah. So what happens is, and we've had a few guys who've gone to France on the show before. When you've been over there, when you retire, as long as you stay there, I think for 2 years, which is why when people do go to finish their careers and then they stay there, they don't immediately come back to the UK, because whilst you stay in France, I think it's about 80% of your salary,
your final salary,
is paid for 2 years after you first retire from these rugby clubs, which is absolutely awesome. Lovely system. How they afford it, God alone knows, but very nice if you can. I'm going to go out. I've signed a contract with Racing for next year for a couple of years now. I'm just going to stay there and drink wine on it.
It's a beautiful stadium they got,
isn't it? God,
it's amazing.
You'd love to play at that.
I would. I'd love to, even if it's just a friendly game of all boys rugby. I'd just to play on that pitch.
I'd love to go there and have a run on that.
Yeah, it's one of those stadiums you go to and you think, bloody hell.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah, and you can play all night there. They just put the lights on. It's all indoors. Doesn't matter what the weather's like.
Well, it's like when we did the Rugby X thing, isn't it? In the O2.
Yeah. Well, we got a tournament in Sweden, the Hawkers Cup, every March, and it's like we've been there and there's been snow all over the ground everywhere at times, but it's indoor. So it's a big stadium, bigger indoor roof, a massive roof, full-size football field. They mark out rugby lines on there. They stick the rugby. They don't mark out rugby. They put rugby posts up. They used to put posts on the football goals, but now they stopped doing that. They just take the football goals away now. And what they've got is 2 massive rugby posts put on the nets behind the pitch. So they just stuck them on the nets. So there's no posts on the actual pitch. So you still score on the try line. But when you take the kicks, you go for the hit the net. It's a bloody good idea.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, is there?
It's perfect.
Julian, what cup did he call it? The Hookers Cup?
Hawkers Cup. It's Hawkers Cup. Hawkers, yeah. It's HA. It's an A with an O over the top. It's a Swedish name.
Right, okay. I thought it was
Yeah,
Hookers.
not what you were thinking, Pete.
I was thinking a Hooters Cup, yeah.
No, it's not the Hookers
I
Cup.
know what you were thinking. I know what you were thinking.
It's in a little town in the middle of Sweden, in the middle of nowhere.
So
I thought Sweden was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I think you're thinking of Finland there.
Oh yeah, probably.
Although snow rugby in Finland, there's another one. That's a cracking tournament as well.
No, because if anybody put their hand down my shorts, it'd be that big.
Everyone goes in the sauna afterwards.
Mel!
Everyone goes in the games.
No, right, no.
So it'll be that big and sweaty.
Right, anyway.
Yeah, it's that big when it's fully erect.
I'll prove it to you it's not. But anyway.
I'd rather you just prove it to Sam and send us the photos again.
Anyway,
come on, more rumour. Come on, talk to us. Talk to us, Pete.
It's not about rumour. We're just talking about French. Might as well do it. Christian Dominici.
Okay.
Yes. You know, passed away and everything. Very, very sad for rugby.
Absolutely.
And I quite like the tribute that the French did with him on the pitch, and you know, it's just I don't know, it's crap. 42-year-old, you know,
48 is my age.
I mean, Julian's older than that. Mike's older than that.
He's my age. He's 48.
Yeah, 48 winning, 48.
You're 48, are you, Julian?
I am.
No,
Yeah.
49, you own a shit paper
40,
around.
Are you 48, Julian?
I am. Yeah.
Look at Argentina as well. They lost Diego Maradona, didn't they?
Yeah. And did you see the tribute the All Blacks did for them before the game?
Yeah, that was nice. When you compare what the All Blacks did for him ahead of their game to the guy in the funeral home having a selfie over the coffin, I think that just sums up people in a very, very different way, doesn't it?
I'll tell you something. Diego Maradona dying. I mean, I've watched so much of his stuff. There's, so much tribute to him on YouTube and all this lot. Like, you think to yourself, I wasn't, because it's 1986. I knew who he was. I didn't know what he'd done. I know he did the hand of God, and if you speak to Peter Shilton, he absolutely he calls him a cheat. He calls him everything. But right now, my thing about it all, if you're a sportsman, you do something and you get away with it, right? It's not his fault. If you see what I mean? Yeah. If the referee gave a goal, then you go off and celebrate like he did. If he gave no goal, I'm going to yellow carded him. Okay, he tried it. No one says it.
Try it. You get away with it. If you get away with it, thank you very much.
We've talked about it all night, haven't we? About decisions and scrum and tackles in the air and things. Get
away with it. Move on. It happened. Move on.
What were those 3 letters that I said before? A, B, E. Oh, it was class. I was jumping up and down for joy.
Sam, they sell those t-shirts in Cardiff.
Eh?
They sell them with Cardiff.
Oh, brave mate. Yeah.
But the whole thing about it is, if you look at it that way, is if England got through to the final, that would have been major for England football. Do you remember when England got through to the final in 2003?
Yeah.
Well, 1991 was big, right? But in 2003 was the biggest one that I can remember, and we won it anyway. But rugby just took off. And you just imagine, in '82 World Cup, England got through to the final. They'd have done really, really well. And I mean, and it's all about participation in sport and all this lot. But if you think about what Maradona did for the game, like Naples, right? When he signed for Naples, he won the league twice at Naples. All right.
I think he won 5 times in all.
Yeah, but no, he won the league. He won the league twice at Naples, which was unheard of. At the time, the North wanted to kick the south of Italy out and make them their own country and let them go divide themselves. And then Italy had to go and play at the Naples Stadium against Argentina, and all the Italian fans turned up chanting for Argentina to beat Italy, the home country. That is
like
one
when English go to Scotland.
That is one man's influence.
Saying, just following on what you're saying there, Peter, about certain things happening in sport taking off in areas like with England football and whatnot, and with the 2003 World Cup. There's Scotland, qualifying for the first time in 23 years, mate, for the Euros. So that's going to be huge for Scotland, for the younger boys starting to play football and stuff like that.
Scotland need to actually, they played against what? Azerbaijan.
Yeah. Hey, listen. They equalled or beat the record of unbeaten games that Scotland had since back in the 80s or something. Was it 7 or 8 games in a row they won? So it doesn't matter who they win against. It's still a win. Yeah,
I know. I mean, they got through to the Euros.
It's like 28-0 against Fiji, isn't it, mate?
Fiji, yeah. They still won.
Exactly.
I just like the way, right? It was total lockdown in Scotland. And they went out and celebrated like they won the World Cup. They were dancing on the tops of the roofs. They went out, and because Scotland had got through, and your Jimmy Cranky that looks after Scotland, right? She absolutely no, you're not allowed to do that. Although Scotland won, you're still going to cry by the rules. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Oh, she does look like Jimmy Cranky. She does look like Jimmy Cranky.
Yeah, she does. She
does look like Jimmy Cranky.
She's built like him as well. And we've lost Julian completely now. He's gone for the night, and I think that's probably a great time to leave it.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a great time tonight. We hope you have too, and we'll see you all next week. Good night from me, and good night from the guys. Take care. And in a final note, just in tribute to Mr. Sam Ramage's Movember, we'd like to pay tribute to it right now. There you go, Sam. Tell us about your Movember.
The last day. It's been a pleasure, as you can see. It has been fun. It's also been sad because most of the time it's been covered up by a bloody mask, but there you go. But the best part was getting dressed up like Freddy and having my skirt fucking fondue off my arse. Fair enough. Good night, gentlemen. Enjoy.
Does that mean we can show the video of that next week?
Honestly, somebody should text his daughter and ask Mel, can she wax it off for us live on the camera?